was a calm summer night over southern Germany in July 2002. The stars twinkled, the air was still, and two planes were heading toward their destinations, unaware that the sky itself was about to betray them. One carried excited children on the trip of a lifetime. The other carried cargo on a routine night flight. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Yet in just a few minutes, a chain of decisions, small mistakes, and miscommunications would collide with unimaginable consequences. By the time anyone realized what was happening, it would be far too late. Lives would be lost, families shattered, and questions would linger for years. What happened in the skies above Uberlingen that night? The answer is as shocking as it is heartbreaking. Our story begins far away, in Ufa, Russia. A group of 46 bright school children, ages 9 to 17, were about to experience a dream come true, a UNESCO-sponsored trip to the sunny beaches of Spain. These were not just ordinary kids, they were top students, full of curiosity, laughter, and boundless energy. Families were proud, excitement buzzing in the air as parents waved them off. But life has a way of slipping in tiny missteps. A bus took them to the wrong airport, and their original flight left without them. 2 restless days in a Moscow hotel followed, but hope remained. Finally, a charter flight was arranged, Bashkirian Airlines Flight 2937. A Tupolev Tu-154, carrying 60 passengers, including the children, their families, and chaperones, with an experienced crew in command. The excitement was palpable. Kids pressed against the windows, pointing at clouds and dreaming of beaches they had yet to see. And somewhere far away, another plane was preparing for takeoff. Far away in Bergamo, Italy, a Boeing 757 cargo plane was quietly preparing for a routine night flight. DHL Flight 611 carried no passengers, just cargo. But its crew was just as professional and experienced as the passengers on the Tu-154. Captain Paul Phillips and First Officer Brant Campioni had flown thousands of hours together. Calm, methodical, nothing about this night suggested danger. At 23:06 local time, the plane lifted off into the dark sky, heading toward Brussels. Meanwhile, Bashkirian Flight 2937 was climbing steadily toward its cruising altitude, 36,000 feet, where their paths would eventually converge. Up in the Zurich control tower, one man worked alone, air traffic controller Peter Nielsen. Systems were partially down, phones were faulty, and a single controller was now responsible for a huge stretch of airspace. At this point, everything seemed routine, but hidden in the quiet night sky, 2 planes were closing in on each other, faster than anyone could imagine. What happens next will be the moment everything changes. At 36,000 feet, both planes were now on intersecting paths. The skies were quiet, but the danger was invisible. No one could see it coming. Suddenly, the Tu-154's TCAS, its collision warning system, alerted the crew.
TCAS alert, traffic. Copy, visual scan.
Seconds later, climb, climb! At the same time, over the radio, Peter Nielsen's calm voice cut through the cockpit.
I have crossing traffic.
The pilots hesitated. The system built to save lives was telling them one thing, but the controller's command told them another.
Reichsmusik put 9 for the net researching. Expedite descent, traffic alert.
Russian aviation culture placed the controller above all, and Flight 2937's autopilot was disengaged as the crew began to follow orders, descending into the unknown.
AFL 101, turn right heading 270. Descend to flight level 350. Report established.
Somewhere else, the DHL crew was also receiving conflicting signals.
Captain, we're getting conflicting signals. Conflicting? Which systems? Altimeter and heading. They're unreliable. Run the cross-check now.
The night that started so peacefully was about to turn into chaos. Seconds now mattered more than ever. 23:34. Less than a minute remained. The Tu-154 crew watched the warning lights flash, their hearts racing. Climb! Climb! The TCAS cried again.
Hi, TCAS, climb. Controller says descend. Descending, but TCAS is still commanding climb. Descend immediately.
but the controller's voice still commanded them to descend. At the same moment, the DHL 757's TCAS screamed, "Descend! Descend!" Captain Phillips and First Officer Campione pushed the nose down, unaware of the two 154 just a few hundred meters above. The two planes were now hurtling toward each other at over 1,000 kilometers per hour, a collision course set by split-second decisions and tiny errors. In the quiet night sky, the drama unfolded silently, unseen by anyone below. Seconds stretched like hours. One wrong move, one hesitation, and it would all be over. The moment of impact was almost here. 23:35, 24. Just 8 seconds remained. The two 154 crew finally saw the lights of the DHL 757, fast and terrifying, coming from the left. Panic erupted. "Climb!" someone shouted, finally obeying TCAS. But it was too late. The DHL 757 was already descending rapidly, about 2,400 feet per minute. Both planes were locked on a deadly path. 23, 35, 32. Impact. Over Uberlingen, Germany, near Lake Constance, the DHL's vertical stabilizer tore straight through the two 154's fuselage, just ahead of the wings. The Tupolev broke apart instantly. Seats, bodies, and wreckage rained down onto fields and forests. 2 minutes later, the DHL 757, damaged beyond control, spun nose first into the woods near Teisersdorf. Both pilots were lost. 71 lives vanished in the blink of an eye. The sky fell silent. On the ground, no one could imagine the horror that had unfolded above. But the fields and forests of Uberlingen told the story in shattered metal and scattered belongings. All 71 people aboard both planes were gone, 69 on the two 154, including every child, and 2 on the DHL 757. Families were shattered, communities in mourning, and a nightmare that no one could undo had become reality. Investigators would later uncover a chain of failures: a lone air traffic controller, outdated systems, conflicting instructions, and a momentary lapse in judgment that became a catastrophe. And yet, even amid tragedy, questions remained. How could such small errors lead to such a monumental disaster? How could two planes, so far apart just hours before, collide in the night sky? The answers would haunt many for years to come. As investigators pieced together the tragedy, a troubling picture emerged. The air traffic controller, Peter Nielsen, had been working alone that night. Phones were down, radar was delayed, and critical safety systems were offline. Meanwhile, the TCAS system, designed to prevent exactly this kind of collision, had been ignored. Flight 2937's crew followed Nielsen's instructions over the automated warnings, a decision shaped by training, culture, and trust in authority. Every detail mattered: split-second decisions, tiny miscommunications, and outdated protocols converged in a way that would cost 71 lives. The question that haunted aviation experts: could this disaster have been prevented if just one system had worked as intended? Or if one person had made a different choice? The sky had no mercy, and the answers would be both shocking and heartbreaking. The 2002 Uberlingen collision was more than a crash. It was a tragedy born from small errors, human limits, and failing systems. 71 lives were lost, including 52 children, their dreams cut short in an instant. Grief, rage, and heartbreak rippled across families and nations. Aviation learned harsh lessons. TCAS must always take priority. Controllers can never be alone, and tiny mistakes in the sky can be fatal. Memorials now stand to honor the lost. Let us pause and never forget.